Welcome back, dear friend. My name is Sammy Jones, and this is Moments of Truth, where we look at very important points, things that matter to everyone. And today we are continuing our discussion on why love gets sour. Marriages that come together, or couples come together to start a marriage and they love each other, and all kinds of things happen. But down the lane, some marriages have become like Parliament House. And I don't say this too lightly. And I've seen statistics, I've met people, I have experienced all kinds of interventions where in my community we had to go in and people take strong opposing views in their marriage, and they're arguing and they don't want to back down or compromise on their views, and the marriage is breaking down and the children are suffering and all that. But many are also crying for help. What must I do? So in the previous clip, Reverend JFK Mensah, who is my spiritual father, a man to bless us because God has really blessed him, prepared him with experience in life. And he was saying something about the fact that humanity suffers in our relationships because marriage is God-made, according to the Bible. Now, if you don't always read your Bible, you don't believe that the Bible or God is of any significance to you, may I beg you to at least take some time to listen first before you make that quick decision to back off or to get out of this video. Because the originator of something is the best person to help you to answer how to fix that thing, I would imagine. And that is the point that was made. Reverend JFK Mensah is going to continue from where he left off, because he was going to talk about two more things. Over to you, dear sir.
Thank you. The second point I want to make as what ends the argument in the home is turning your life over to Jesus Christ to manage for you. In religious language, we call it accepting Jesus as your Lord and personal Savior. Submitting your life to the leadership, the rulership, the government of Jesus.
Okay, so you're saying that, wait, if I get up in the morning and my husband was meant to pick up the rubbish yesterday, he didn't do it. The other day, I called him to buy me some stuff on the road. He refused to do it. And then Saturday morning, he's asking me to do something similar for him. And that gets me upset. What has it got to do with accepting Jesus Christ into my life?
It has everything to do with it. Your natural human life has an inner weakness which is not able to handle circumstances like this. And you need help. That help, God has gone ahead and given it to us in His Son, Jesus Christ. He came onto this earth as a historical figure. He was born at what we call Christmas, and He walked on this earth for 33 and a half years. He was tempted in every way like us, but without sin. And He has the game under control. He can love His enemies. On the cross, He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And he was called a friend of publicans and sinners. This Jesus died on the cross for us and rose on the third day and is a resurrected living personality you can encounter. When you invite Him into your heart, into your life, into your marriage, His presence and person comes, and he comes to do what you can never do on your own.
Right. What if, I'm not sure everyone will be convinced by what you just said. I'll have some other questions, so I'll bring them up again. But what about if I am convinced I'm the man? Somehow you're drawing my attention to something. For instance, when I was a child, I may have gone to Sunday school. I was taught about the loving Jesus, about following his word, of being obedient. I occasionally still go to church. Sometimes I have belief. So I wouldn't call myself a non-believer. So you meet me, you're giving me this answer that this can help my relationship and marriage. And I feel some part of it makes sense to me. So I want to take it serious. What if my other half, my wife doesn't care about these gospel thing, so I can now call myself a believer and she is not a believer? Can it still work? Is it possible?
It will. It will work because you change others through changing yourself. It takes a changed person to change others. And Jesus changes lives.
Right.
So 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, therefore, if any man is in Christ, he's a new creature. All things are passed away. All things have become new. So Jesus takes the old heart of sin and stubbornness out, gives you a new heart of flesh, and puts his spirit within you. Now, what happens is that your reactions in the home change. You know, you are not so angry, you know, at every little offense. You find yourself just, you know, ringing a bell, starting a storm, throwing things at one another. No. Now, you see that you are more reflective, you are more meditative, you are more prayerful, you are committing the thing into the hands of somebody who is stronger than you. And so your wife or your other partner notices that there is a change. I provoke him, but he doesn't slap me.
Right.
He doesn't abuse me any longer. I notice that, you know, he's doing his duty as a husband.
Right.
He's this. And so it takes two to fight and two to tango. So when I am fighting and the other party is not fighting and responding with love, with grace, with understanding, with forgiveness, you see that it begins to affect your partner.
Right. So the point that Pastor is making, if I got that right, is that the point is this. There's a way that a person can change from within. You know, we use that language, you change from the heart. So it's not just thinking about, should I do this or that or that. The core of your belief, what you actually believe, what you think is the most important thing in life, you change from them. So when you change from them, then you begin to value life or see life differently. So before, because that had not changed, you saw, let's say, your wife as a nagging person. That's all you could see in her. But because you've changed, you become, let's say, patient, a bit more understanding. You yourself, you're calmer. You are more careful in the way you use your words, even if when you're upset. Before, you were not that careful, so you could lash back, and that would then raise the argument in the house. But because something is changing in you, your choice of words are more graceful. And what the senior gentleman is telling us is that with time, your change will have an influence on the other person. So it seems he's telling us that that kind of change can best come when you offer your life, or you accept the offer of life which Jesus Christ, the Son of God, gives to a person from his point of view. And I believe that as believers in the gospel of the Bible, that sits well with us, and we have to take advantage of that. God willing, next time or next week, we're going to come back again to finish off the latter part of this discussion. But we are trying to address the point, why does marriages go sour or love get sour? Marriage is not Parliament House. The home is not Parliament House, where we take strong opposing views. And all we do is try to argue against one another, and I try to win, and you try to win. It's supposed to be a united front, lovingly joined up together. How can this happen? From the man of God, get back to the Bible. That sets out God's plan for marriage. Number 2, embrace the new, fresh, graceful life Jesus alone can give. Then as I change and my partner changes, we will enjoy a good, loving relationship. God bless you, and next week you'll hear from us again. Bye for now.